Good morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is February 5th. Good morning. Another nuts day in the market on Friday. Had a bearish NFP number that did cause selling, but then that selling was quickly reversed close to the open, and then we trended up the rest of the day. Sold off a little at the close, probably profit taking. Almost hit the 5,000 psychological number in futures, and that's where we are. This Mag 7 group is driving us. All right, because there was a lot of red names other than the Mag 7. So, wasn't a big, strong breath day. Very interesting market. Very interesting. And then, one thing to note, the dollar and the 10-year yield spiked up higher on Friday while we went higher. Again, bond market's a smart money. I don't know. There's going to be a time, too, where yields can go down, but that might be out of fear of a recession instead of just yields are going down and equities are going to go up. I don't know. We have to see. That's what makes the market interesting. So without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, volume profile to find structure in the market, also supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, most traded price of the week, the month, the year, preceding day, also anchored VWAPs, all to help me find structure in the market. Also use confluence when multiple inflection points or indicators line up. I also love taking trades like that because you just have multiple things lining up together. That's my favorite type of trade. Multiple confirmations. I love doing that. And if you are new to my channel, subscribe, set an alert. Okay. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up, a like. That'll help me out a lot. Also, you can always follow me on X, and that's at Gonzo719. All right, we can get right into futures here. All right, let me get rid of that. Let's look at the futures together. Now, VIX is elevated. Okay, it's up 1.95%. Ether's up 0.95. Bitcoin's up 0.69. The dollar. So here's the problem. Higher dollar. It's not good for equities or commodities. Okay, broke out of that range that I believe it was like 103 something. We'll look at it in a sec. Now 30-year bonds are also being sold pretty hard this morning. They're almost down in percent. This should drive the 10-year yield higher. This is what I was talking about. So 10-year yield higher, usually not good for equities. Okay, Nasdaq is pretty much flat. Now Nvidia is up 3% pre-market. It's just a monster. It's heading towards $700. It got a price target raise this morning. So it is just a monster. That's probably holding up somewhat of the Nasdaq. Okay. ES is down 0.15. Dow is down 0.23. Crude just been getting hammered lately, down 0.3. Now China, if you've seen some headlines, I believe 25% of the market hit a limit down this morning. So their market's cratering. That's crazy. That's going to put a dent in crude. So I think that China is the largest importer of crude. So I don't know, that's just a crazy situation in China. Their population is shrinking as well. So now Russell, all right, Russell's been the dog of this index. Okay, mainly because it represents basically our economy. All right, and a lot of small businesses. And a lot of small businesses don't have stock buybacks. They don't have the capital that the big Mag 7 has, right? They can't manipulate their shares like with EPS. Anytime stocks do big buybacks, it takes away the outstanding shares, which then gives them a better EPS number. It's kind of way to game the system a little bit. The Russell's just not good. It doesn't look good. I believe there was a stat. I was even telling my friend Rosa that I believe only like 40 something percent of the Russell 2000 is profitable. It's not a good thing. It's not good. So that's why the Russell's just been a dog. All right. Now gold still above 2K, but with the dollar rising, it's getting some weakness. 30-year bonds, like I said, down 0.92. Very interesting. Silver's down 1.47. Okay, moving on to the Mag 7 Plus. Okay, Mag 7 Plus. Nvidia, like I said, just I don't know, it's crazy. It is parabolic. 3.15. All right, AMD probably sympathy up 1.25. Okay, had that little dip in earnings, which was like that was probably the buy the dip moment for AMD. Baba's up 1%. They're expected to report earnings. Okay, then you have Apple up 0.73. Apple bottomed out with their earnings, and people looked at it as the buy the dip opportunity. Okay, I think they bottomed out at like 180. So, Google might be the next one to take off because they had not bad earnings, but they gapped down with their earnings. All right, coins up 0.5, and then we have laggards. Okay, we got Meta probably maybe people taking a couple profit, down 0.44. Amazon same thing, down 0.73. Tesla, boy, they just got a price target cut at 185, down 1.23. Boeing just had some other news. We can get into it later. It's negative, so they're down 1.71. So that they're holding 200. Just a bunch of negative news around that company. Okay, moving on. Top sector stocks. Cat beat earnings, up big. This stock, oh man, when this stock was down, I believe in the 160s, I was like, man, that's probably a good opportunity. Well, whenever you wait, it's at 328 now. So crazy. All right, Eli Lilly is up 1.48. Walmart's pretty strong with the stock 3-to-1 split coming up. What do we have laggard wise? Johnson and Johnson's been a little bit of a drag. Home Depot, Morgan Stanley, and McDonald's. Now McDonald's reported earnings and they had their first sales miss in I think they said 4 years. So that's what's going on there. Now let's go over to my swing, my large lift to swing trades, and we can see what's leading the pack here. All right, there's something wrong with Thinkorswim and this ARM because ARM is only up 40 cents, and there's something wrong because it's not up 40%. So it's not that much of a leader, but they do report earnings this week. Palantir is up 2.94. Super Microcomputers still strong. This Veritiv up 1.51. Mara's up 0.93. There's not a lot of big movers. Okay, there's not. There's just not. And let's look at the negative side. Let's look at the laggards. I think this is Alcoa. I could be wrong. They are down 1.59, 1.56. ADM's down 1.42. SoFi's down 1.27. Lucid. Now see, there's TLT down 1.2%. Enphase is reporting earnings this week. Okay. Carvana, there's not a lot to talk about today. There's nothing down really that big, nothing up that big besides Nvidia. So let's go back to the top of this list. Let's go back to top sectors. Okay, let's go to the sectors now. Let's look at the outlook for sectors. Semiconductors, no surprise, leading the pack, followed by technology. And then we got a bunch of laggards, see? See what I mean? Nvidia and tech up 0.23. Everybody else is flat or negative. So who's the big laggards here? Utilities, real estate, discretionary, that's Tesla, Amazon, and basic materials. Okay. Now I believe that AA is aluminum, Alcoa, basic material. They're in the basic materials sector. That's why that sector's lagging. Okay. That's about it for the watch list. Get into some news and economic calendar. Let's get that up. Let's pull that up. All right, this week's kind of light with news. So today, stay away, 9:45 and 10 a.m. Okay, there's going to be some volatility with some news dropping. There's more 10 a.m., but this is the important one. ISM services. Okay, expect volatility at 9:45 and 10 a.m. So I'm going to be very cautious. Probably won't touch the market until after 10 a.m. Okay. Uh, Kashkari is actually speaking now. I saw, so I don't know why that's not in here. But Bostic speaks at 2. There's a lot of Fed speak this week. Look, Mester speaks tomorrow. All right, Wednesday. Look at that. 3 Feds. I never saw that guy before. Kugler, Barkin, Bowman, all speaking. Thursday, jobless claims, Barkin, 30-year bond auction, and that's really it for the week. There's not a ton of heavy news data coming out this week. Okay, now let's look at earnings this week. Not huge. A lot of the huge ones are out of the way. Caterpillar today, McDonald's already, Estee Lauder today, Tyson Foods. All right, today after the close, Palantir. All right, Palantir. All right, tomorrow before the open, Eli Lilly, Spotify, Hertz, BP, Toyota. Tomorrow after the close, Snap, Enphase, Ford, Chipotle, Fortinet, Amgen, Gilead. Okay. Wednesday, you got Alibaba, Uber, CVS, Roblox, Bungie, or Bunge, Emerson, then PayPal, Walt Disney, Arm, Win, Mattel. Okay. Thursday, ConocoPhillips. You got some energy there. Philip Morris, tobacco. Spirit, Hershey, Lincoln Financial Group, S&P Global. After the close on Thursday, Affirm, Pinterest, Cloudflare, Expedia, and then Friday, you got PepsiCo, AMC, Blue Owl. That's what you have going on Thursday. All right. Now there's not a ton of stuff to talk about. McDonald's recorded first sales months in 4 years. Talked about that. Caterpillar talked about it. Um, there's not much news. I'll be honest with you. Now, CFED's Kashkari speaking. So what did he say? Data on the economy are not unambiguously positive, with some signs of weakness, including rising consumer delinquencies. Finally, somebody's talking about that. Kashkari, higher neutral rate means monetary policy might not be as tight as thought. All right, and then we had Powell speak on 60 Minutes. Kind of talked about 3 rate cuts. Talked about integrity. He actually said that the fiscal policy of the government is unsustainable, which was interesting because that's true. And he said our children's children are probably going to be affected by that one day, basically. So that's basically the wrap up of that. We could get into the daily charts. Now, these charts they're interesting. These Mag 7, it's just very interesting how they've been pushing this market. Okay, because you look at these charts and some of them are just, you can read them and see, look at nuance, but there's not a lot of nuance. All right, so let's look at the SPY. Let's zoom in here. Made all-time highs. All right, we went over last month's highs. All right, we went all the way up to 496. Are we headed to 500? I don't know. Possibly. Okay. Now, let's see here. Where are we at now? 493.24. So 493.24. We're kind of in the mid of the range of Friday. Midpoint. Mid range. All right. So I wouldn't call that overly bullish. I wouldn't call it overly bearish. Kind of in the mid of a range, right? Could go either way. Have to see today. Let's look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, okay, actually, it did make an all-time high on Friday. I didn't really realize that. It did. 430.24, right? Just broke last week's highs and last month's highs, and then closed back under. Okay, so it didn't really fully hurt all these shorts that much because it would have ran more. Now, can that happen today? Possibly. Okay, where are we at now? 428.81. Where are we at? Right at the, now this is more bullish, right? Nvidia is helping this out. We're at the top of Friday's highs. That is bullish. Okay, you're sitting at the highs. Can you push? Can this be the blow off top? You push, you break out, and then everybody takes. This market needs to take some breather. All right, is this a breather? I guess, right? With Powell, you had one down day, and then you rip back up. Okay, so that's what's going on in those markets. Let's look at the bond market, because this is really crazy. What's going on with this bond market? Look at this candle. Boy, look at that. Look at that. So the 10-year yield is up 2.08%. Yield is up 4.117. So we broke out of this, right? And I was like, oh boy. But look at this move. Man. Now NFP came out adding 350 something jobs, which that is not an economy that needs a rate cut. I don't know. We'll have to see. This is just crazy. That's a big move in the bond market. So have to see. Right now the dollar is also making a move. Look at the dollar. Finally broke out of this range. Look at that candle. Boom. And now it's getting follow through. Over the 200-day moving average, hitting the 100-day moving average. So this is usually not good for equities, right? And if you got the VIX, VIX came down to these lows, and now pushing up. Can we get more fear? Even though we just went higher, right? And now the VIX is higher. So it's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we can move on now to look at some structure, market profile, and really set a game plan. Really, really set a game plan here. And look at structure. Okay, let's look at the structure together. So, okay. So now we have a new week-to-date VWAP right here, right? And the most traded price of the week is, oh, this is the Nasdaq. Hold on. Okay. Let's make this a little smaller so we can look at this together. All right. So price is right here, 49.67, right here. Okay. New week-to-date VWAP started, and not much now, but it's red. So sellers are in control of the week since the futures opened on 6 o'clock. All right. Last night. All right. So pretty interesting, right? Made a big move, right? NFP came out. Look, here's the overnight. This is when they sold off. Opened here, pushed down a little bit, and then it was off, right? So what's very interesting is 49.63 is the midpoint, 50% of that day. We're right there. So that's a place where the bulls need to defend that. Okay? This market's been very crazy. So Big moves, big swings either way. So bulls need to defend that. Now you have the most traded price of the week's 49.51 right here. Most traded price of the month still 49.16. Price is above those levels. That is bullish structurally. Okay. Profile doesn't have much excess on the top. It's not very thin. And it has a little bit excess on the bottom. That profile is kind of ugly. Okay. So how are we going to play this? This is very interesting, right? Now, we're below the week today VWAP. We're above monthly VWAP. Monthly VWAP keeps coming into play, obviously, as you go deeper into the month. Okay? So how do we play this? We got supply zones ahead, above, overhead supply. And this is the overnight high and the mid of Friday. So this is very interesting. Kind of have here, not kind of, you do, the overnight low and Friday's low are pretty much a week low. Okay, so that's a place, and look what it lines up with, monthly VWAP. Okay, so starting to see, and you got the most traded price of the month here. This is the place right here. First defense for the bulls is the midpoint, 49.63. Second, so here, let's map this out. Okay, let's map this out. So here's the first defense for the bulls, the midpoint, which happens to be overnight high, right? Then you have the most traded price of the week here. So this little area here, so 49.51 to 49.63 is the first defense for the bulls. Okay. Second defense would be this week low here. You got Friday's low and the overnight low, and you have monthly VWAP and the most traded price of the month. You even have a demand zone right below that. Okay, this is all structurally bullish if these get tested. If you bounce out of it, okay, those are defense points for the bulls. So if we're about to talk about scenarios here, let's talk about it. I think I just hit the wrong. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So in a bullish case, all right, what do you want to see? Now, right now, just to make everybody understand this too, you're in the middle of Friday's session. This is not a lot of edge here, even though you are at an inflection point. Okay, you don't really like to be at the middle of a session of Friday. That could cause some chop, right? So, like I said, I'm going to draw the box right here. Here's the first point where bulls got to defend. Okay, if you push into this area, and like I said, you could bounce right here. But let's just say you go into this area. You could even do this, higher low, higher low. This could start making a move. You probably get some resistance here in this supply, possibly go up and test Friday's highs. Okay, even if we fall further, right? Let's say the bears are able to break this, come down here to this weak low, right? You could bounce off monthly VWAP or come down here, touch that demand, start making higher lows, and this could push us right back up here. I'm not sure if you come all the way here, you make new highs, you could balance off here. Okay. Am I in love with these scenarios? Those are just possibilities. Okay. Now you're talking about the bear scenario. You do have supply. Okay. And just the inverse of what I just said, basically. So you could open up, push up to the overnight high, find some weakness. This happens to also be the most traded price of Friday. You come up here, go under that, and then break the overnight low, test the most traded price of the week. If you break this, you're probably going down, and you're probably going to go and visit 49.16. Okay, I would expect the market to be supportive there, right? You could also come up, break the overnight high, come up into this area, test Friday's highs, hit lower high, hit the most traded price Friday, and continue to roll over, just like I said. Now that wouldn't be bearish, that would just be a short. Okay, that's what I see going on right now. Okay, now as far as the Nasdaq, let's look at the Nasdaq together. Let's look at that together. Okay, now as far as the Nasdaq, my scenario pre-market was I don't really love it, and the only thing you have is the week to date VWAP right here. I said that the market could bounce off of, and that's exactly what the Nasdaq did. Literally opened up, hit the week to date VWAP, and launched. I saw it and I was like, I said pre-market, I said that's the only thing I see, and I wasn't in love with it because there wasn't a lot of confluence there. So it was just that only data point. I don't really like trading off of one data point. So I just was like, well, there it is. And then it took off, right? So let's look at this structurally. So we have some profile here is a value area. That's 70% of the trade of the last week. And then now we're up here. Okay, we did not really officially break out. So there's some room to go up in the NASDAQ. Does it? I don't know, right? But let's look at this structurally. Now the NASDAQ is stronger. You got strength in NVIDIA, in AMD, in Apple. So NASDAQ's a little stronger. All right, so what we have here is, let's look at this move now. You have a midpoint here of the move, 50%. Market is holding above that. All right, we closed close to the highs. Okay, now overnight there's not much edge here. The profile is pretty much balanced. Okay, we're at the midpoint of the overnight session. That's really no edge there, but you're holding higher prices. Okay, most trader prices at the top of the session, which is bullish. Now NVIDIA's up pretty big, so you might get some profit taking in NVIDIA early on. Okay, I'm not sure. All right, now the one other thing, there's a weak high here. Okay, you can see this profile on Friday doesn't have excess. Okay, if I break this out to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying by that, you see these 4 periods in a row couldn't break out. All right, so that belongs. Let's make this bigger so everybody can see it. All right, I'm going to make this bigger. So that's 4 30-minute periods that could not break this level. So that needs to be corrected. Eventually, if we come up here, it's probably going to push the market up. Okay, so that, if we come revisit that, should break. Okay, that should break. Let me just rearrange this chart again so we get a better view. Okay, so that's something, right? So for me, do we have any significant levels? We know we have the 50%. It's about 176.20. Okay, most trader price of the week's right here as well. So you have this area to defend for bulls. What else do you have? You have monthly VWAP down here, and you have kind of not as great as a week low here with the overnight low on Friday morning and Friday's low here as well. That's another point for the bulls to defend. Okay, now I do see, you don't see it on the chart right now, but the most traded price of the month will probably move up to here today. Okay, so that will be also there, which would be big defense for the bulls. Okay, so let's look at some scenarios here, what we can gather from the NASDAQ. Okay, what can we gather from this NASDAQ? All right, if you're in the bullish camp, and this is bullish structure. You have the area to defend right here, this area. Okay, so I'd be looking for the market to push up, come into supply. All right, maybe Nvidia people are taking some profits. All right, come in here. Now this is very important here. There is single prints by the open. Okay, but if this gets defended, I'll talk about that single print in a second. If this gets defended, you bounce, you try, maybe even do a whoop, higher low. Market strengthens back up. You could eventually get some supply in here. You could go boom. Okay. Now, even if we fall a little farther, you have single prints here, but you have monthly VWAP and this week low. You could really come down here, test that month-to-date VWAP and these single prints. And if single prints don't get clean, meaning these don't disappear, cleaning means getting rid of them. And let's say it finds a bottom inside the single, that is bullish. Okay, that is bullish, and that could bring us back up. When single prints get defended and they don't get cleaned, that is a strong sign for the bulls, because there shouldn't be much support here. Okay. Now, conversely, the bearish point of view. All right. So if you are a bear, you want to see this market push up, break that bullish high, make excess, lower high, dip below the most traded price on Friday, and you want to take out this overnight low. And now you're going to do the opposite of what I just said. Take out the most traded price of the week and really test monthly VWAP in these singles. Now remember, bearish is cleaning singles. If you clean those singles, you're going to do something like this, and then you could eventually go back down to here, about 173.50. Okay. Now that's a very, very bearish move, but very, very possible. Okay. Eventually, this market's going to pull back. Now again, I don't have any. I don't care what happens. I'm going to trade from what I see. This is not what I think will happen. It's what could happen. Okay, based on what I look at, I structure. Okay, these are only scenarios, not my opinion. All right. So that's really it. What I see for the Nasdaq. All right. So there's key levels that need to be defended by bulls. If they're not, I don't know if I'm a fan of shorting lower. Okay, I'd rather be up here and see some weakness possibly, but I really have to sit back, and it's Monday. Sit back and digest a little bit. Remember, 9:45 news, 10 a.m. news. So be cautious. Okay, there should be some volatility with those news drops. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Please subscribe, set and alert if you have. That would mean a lot to me. Also, you can give me a big thumbs up. That would help out my channel. And as always, you can follow me at X at Gonzo719. Okay, so we have the plan here. Now, like I said, where we are structurally in the ES, in the NASDAQ, is we're inside the range. We're inside the range of Friday. So you need something. You're going to push up to the top or push down to test those levels. Like I said, somebody's getting tested, sellers or buyers. And then that's a decision time to go, okay, I want to go with the buyers or I want to go with the sellers. Okay, right now where we are is not a great place to start a trade. So, but if you're a scalper, obviously, I don't do that much. So that's different, right? So that's the plan today. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Stay green. Good luck. Remember, no trade is a trade. Sitting on hands is a trade. Cash is a trade. Okay, that might be your best bet today. I don't know. We'll find out. All right. Take it easy, everybody.